Radiant team ban.
And it's finally here. We have the Southeast Asian qualifiers. One of these two teams is going to be going to New York for the ESL One New York event.
5 seconds remaining.
Blitz, we've got MVP Phoenix, a team that you know quite well, facing up against Fnatic, easily the most famous Southeast Asian team out there. This is going to be a very tough match to call.
I don't actually... You know what's weird is that I really thought Fnatic was going to do really well at TI5. And I thought MVP Phoenix was going to like finish bottom 4, bottom 5. And then they got 8th. And it was just like... what's going... It's no flame to MVP Phoenix. Like, they surpassed like everybody's wildest expectations. But Fnatic is a roster that has a lot... That had a lot of veterans. Like, obviously, they've changed their roster quite significantly. They had a lot of veterans. They had momentum going into the event. MVP Phoenix... didn't really, like, they got second. They had to go through the wild card. Like, this was like the year of the underdog or something like that at TI.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, considering CDEC was also second. All right, guys, we got to jump into our draft because it's actually moving quite quickly here. First pick, Leshrac for MVP Phoenix Fnatic, giving that one away. In return, they get both a Tusk and Bounty Hunter. So, I mean, they do get something nice in return, but immediately MVP Phoenix pick up the Earthshaker, sets up the Leshrac really well. I'm quite concerned that this is going to be a just Leshrac dominant game.
It might be, but I don't know. Leshrac struggles against these two heroes in the early game, so if Fnatic can kind of establish tempo, it's pretty hard for MVP Phoenix to keep up, but it's still a Leshrac. Like, you pick this hero because there's no real weaknesses in it. Like, from the early to late game, it's just solid overall. Like, it never really falters. You're going to have a good phase, like, no matter where you end up. So, I guess the thing that I'm interested most in is whether or not Fnatic can actually apply enough pressure for it to matter. Because, I mean, it's pretty bold to give up radioactive goat, OS frog.
Radioactive rainbow pony?
Yeah, OS
That's
frog.
what I like to call him.
What is it? I think I like disco. La Balance Disco Goat. But it's a rough hero regardless.
Yeah.
It's just something you don't want to give up, and you have to have a game plan around it. And honestly, sometimes it really feels like Mushi just wants to see what he can do. Like, if his team can beat heroes that are in vogue, and he's just like, let's try. And sometimes it works really well, and sometimes it just it's disastrous.
If you had your choice of mid against Leshrac, who would you go for?
If I was equal at all heroes, which I'm not, because I can't break 6.8k with other heroes that aren't Storm.
Radiant team pick.
I would say Lina. TA is not terrible. I think Lina for the range advantage and the potential to kill him at 6. And once you get a Yules, you always have kill potential on him. But it's still rough, like, no matter what.
Right.
Like, the hero just takes forever to kill.
Team pick.
And the thing is, if you kill him and you go for a soft gank, meaning you don't all-in commit for it, oftentimes he just turns it around on you because his slow is the craziest thing ever. He just slows you and then everything dies. I know we've reserved a lot of time talking about the Lesh, so we'll move on, but there's a reason for it.
Right now, Rubik for Fnatic still holding off on that mid. They did have the Lina banned away, which probably would have been my go-to heroes versus the Leshrac. Dazzle's now picked up for MVP Phoenix.
5 seconds remaining.
So a nice saving hero for the...
You didn't move it.
I know. That's because... for some reason.
You didn't let me Dat Dota it. Oh. I'm literally trying to go...
Go ahead. Go Dat Dota. Do your thing. I had some sound issues.
Let's go.
All right, PL picked up now for Fnatic. Probably one of, I mean, okay, so Leshrac does counter PL, but at the same time, PL can counter Leshrac, right? The Diffusal Blade can be quite strong versus him, just being able to do all that extra damage versus a hero who's so magic dependent.
I'm trying to see how many times Fnatic Malaysia, when they were a team, gave up Leshrac. But I guess I'm actually not interested enough in this. It's just
Ember Spirit now for MVP Phoenix. So this very easily could be something like a safe lane Leshrac or Ember Spirit mid, depending on what Fnatic are going to go with their last pick. Though I can't think of a single hero that's going to be like really threatening.
Reserve time.
Then again, Fnatic have run some interesting mids in the past. Like they let the enemy picks up TA and they'll run like Mushi Venomancer versus that one specifically to shut it down. So maybe they have a hero like that can shut down Leshrac.
What are they? They're playing. You're playing Dire side. You've got TA. You could go for and go for the quick Roshan.
Right.
You can pick Storm. Wind Ranger. Wind Ranger's not great. Just because Leshrac outspams the crap out of her.
Radiant team ban.
Storm isn't terrible this game, actually. Like, Storm or TA would be my choices for mid. Sometimes Mushi does some weird stuff and he picks a hero like DP or something like that.
Okay, they're just going to go with a normal mid, it looks like.
Quap is still in the pool?
Yeah, last pick, Queen of Pain.
What the?
Yep.
Okay. That's weird. You know what's... Because even in the EU ones, we saw the Queen of Pain go so late. Like, I'm not quite...
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Second phase, and in this case, last phase. I guess MVP Phoenix's lineup doesn't really fit it. Like, once they committed to the Ember Spirit, and Ember's kind of a soft counter to the Queen of Pain, just because you can Searing Chains her, but
yeah,
I don't really know why she keeps slipping through so far.
Well, I'm presuming this Earthshaker is going to be offlane, and we still need another support for MVP Phoenix, because they've got Earthshaker versus PL. Like, they picked PL into both Leshrac and Earthshaker. I can't imagine that's going to be a fun for Bristol. Pick up, so they go different here. Earthshaker is going to be a support. Febi's going to be playing that one.
I kind of like that MVP Phoenix still take the Bristol a lot. It was a hero that they were picking pretty frequently, even when we were there. Like, from the inception of Zephyr till like 2 years later, they're still one of the teams that really run with the Bristleback.
Yeah,
and they haven't really stopped. We saw it a lot at TI when they ran it with the Wisp. That kind of seemed like their bread and butter strategy. Although, you know what was weird about that? They told me they never practiced that. I think it was Heen that said, yeah, Phoenix don't practice Bristol at all. They just decided that they were going to pick it. And I think Febi confirmed that too. They really YOLO TI.
Yeah.
They were just like, we're just going to do our best. We're not meant to, we might not win the most, but we're going to have a good time. And they got 8th, so it worked, clearly.
5 seconds remaining.
All right, well, the Bristleback can do for them. Lane Bristleback, Dazzle Bristleback at offlane for them. You can run. Which would you rather have mid here at this point?
I think I would rather have. You put Lush mid, of course. You put Dazzle Bristle offlane. March is the offlane player. March has got to be the offlane player. There's no way, especially with QoS built. I don't think you can run the Lash as support. And I think this is a QO hero too.
Right.
You know what's been pretty sick lately is I've been really impressed with how MP's been playing. A lot of controlled aggression. I felt like there was a large portion of time where when they had their course set up, like QO was a little bit too aggressive, and when Febi was the carry too, I almost got that sense too, but it almost feels like MP kind of counterbalances all.
Yeah. Alright, sorry about that. In-game sounds were a little bit loud, but they should be better now.
Plus, I think MP was the first Korean to get 7K, and he did it on C servers, so this guy's some kind of next level genius or something like that.
I remember you complaining about Southeast Asian servers.
Man, if you're 7K
all the time.
Yeah, if you're 7K on C, just go pro. Like, you deserve it. You're doing something right.
All right, so Fnatic, Bounty are going to be roaming around. They do have the off-lane Tusk that they're going to be going for. We've got mid Mushi, of course, and then a defensive dual lane in Phantom Lancer and Rubik.
30 seconds to battle.
All right, so we've got Black playing a hero that he's just... I feel like this hero fits his meta style. I don't think Black is the type of carry that... You know, we saw Havost try to play those heroes that were the initiators the other day. I feel like that's not Black's style at all. I think he's just a pure, old-school fun player. Always has been. Since the days he was DMZ Black, Diamonds Black.
Yeah.
And he was like an NA Dota love child or something like that. I didn't even know he was German until I met him in person.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he just played joint like NA Dota tournaments all the time.
Yeah.
But we'll see how this goes. MVP have a lot of clear, though, to deal with the Phantom Lancer. They've got a Leshrac, a Bristle, an Earthshaker, Ember Dazzle. Like, every one of those heroes have an ability that can AoE clear. That's amazing.
Alright, so Bounty Hunter is going to be looking to shut down the Leshrac as much as possible. They don't actually have an early counter ward set up for him just yet. Febi's got that under control, though. No. And... Did he go back and pick up... Yeah, he went back and picked up the health potion for QO to make sure the Bounty Hunter didn't snipe the courier.
It's pretty common nowadays for your mid player. And Q is actually focusing so much on getting the right-click war off against Mushi and not focusing so much on the CS, I think. Maybe this is just pre-game nerves or first-game nerves.
Oh, MP, he's kind of stuck here. He does get off the Flame Guard, and they don't have enough physical damage. The Orb of Venom slows him down enough that they manage to get a good amount down. QO, meanwhile, pushing pretty hard against Mushi. But considering this is like the kind of dual lane, QO is actually suffering
QO's
a bit more.
run. QO's gonna run.
Yeah.
There was a time period where I think Mushi could have just killed him. Like when he goes on the low ground like this, Mushi should just go level 2 dagger and kill him, I think. Or go for it. Yeah, he's gonna go for the dagger here. If QO drops below maybe another tick of health, I think Mushi just can actually flat out kill him, so he has to be really careful.
Oh, top lane, March. Ooh, he could actually... He's got a lot of quill stacks, but he's completely out of mana. Still playing this one very aggressively. He does have the Mango, so if they commit onto him thinking, you know, oh, he's out of mana, that's very clearly not going to be the case. March seems to be doing very well against this duel, and I like this. I mean, you've got a... First of all, you've got a nuke that has a significant projectile time, so you can always turn your back to it and mitigate some of that damage. And then the Rubik really doesn't add much damage into lane. Like, Telekinesis is okay, but it doesn't do any damage in itself, and Fade Bolt's pretty weak, just damage-based. So March can play this, I think, pretty forward and get a lot out of this lane. I really thought they were going to be coupling him with a Dazzle, but with all this harassment on MP, actually, Heen's going to be gone on. This could be our first blood. Shalgrave goes out. Now they're going to turn around. Net's going to be in some trouble, and the fire isn't enough to get Net. Heen will be taken out by the Ice Shards. MP hope to chase him down, but both of those offlaners will be able to escape.
They're getting a lot out of the offlane. Both teams are actually. The Bristleback is getting solo XP, so it doesn't hurt him as much, but this Bounty Hunter is kind of paying off. And more importantly than that, Mushi's doing just fine mid. He's only 3 CS behind, but he's got the... Like, Kyo's had to use a little bit more to buy in regen.
Oh, Mushi's been caught. He won't go down here, but he will take a large amount of damage and have to burn through his bottle.
If the Earthshaker was there, that would have been a for sure kill.
Yeah. Fortunately, Febi just a bit too late. And Tuss now has a bottle thanks to that first blood that they picked up on the Dazzle.
They really need to get vision down here. They've been trying to survive without a sentry, and they just assume that this is a strong enough dual lane where they can get away with that, but it's not nearly aggressive enough. You've got a hero that can't really provide much at the early 3 or 4 levels in Ember Spirit. That's kind of the weakness of the hero, where he's got terrible stats, and your abilities at level 1 don't do anything to really defend for Dazzle.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing, it's not Heen that's going to save MP, it's going to be the other way around, because they're just going to go on Heen every time. So they need a sentry to spot that rotation coming in from that Bounty Hunter. Right. And I think it's even more important that they get him at the bottom rune, just because they'll know then that he's not mid. And Kyo's going to contest for this rune, but there's a lot of different heroes there.
Oh, Mushi's actually going to jump forward now onto Febi. Ohio actually gets stalled up a little bit. Still has the telekinesis to throw back QO, giving Mushi the time to go on to Febi. Still has his scream up. Will be able to get the kill, but will he survive? Looks like QO will get the turnaround kill. So well worth it still for MVP Phoenix. Meanwhile, at the bottom lane, going on MP with that haste rune. What a body block from Heen, buying MP so much time. And now, both the offlaners will have to back out once again.
I'm actually surprised that Mushi went for that because it was a level 2 Earthshaker and he just gave up solo.
Uh-oh, Shellgrave can't get it off in time. Maybe. If he had gotten off the Shellgrave, they could have turned it around and gotten a kill, but as it is, Net, they're just a very distinct lack of counter vision in this lane. Like, if they had Dust, there's no way that Net can be playing as aggressively as he is.
And Kyo's going to figure out really soon that they've actually blocked this camp, so he's going to try to sack the one on the side.
That's 2 different counter wards that they placed to block out that hard camp.
That's actually really smart because you typically can't get in there for free, but because they have a bounty hunter, it's really easy for them to do it in relative safety, for him to just place that. And it's so huge because it mitigates a lot of the Radiant side advantage that you'll typically get. And that's just a smart heads-up play because a lot of teams, I feel, kind of just give it up. Like when you're playing against a Gyrocopter and you just give a team free Ancients, you can expect him to be the highest net worth in the game.
They see Nets here, but they're going to need a lot more to be able to kill him, some sort of really great Fisher block or something, and that's not going to happen. So, Heen knows Net's around. He'll get to clear through that clarity, but that's it. Meanwhile, we do have a stack. QO is stacking up the Ancients for our Bristleback, so they're putting a lot of emphasis on the offlane Bristle. Like, he's got first of all, he's got a good lane for an offlaner. 1 versus 2. And then he's going to have Ancient stacks to be able to get even farther ahead than he already is.
I think it's just their core belief that they should have 3 farmed heroes. And in mid lane,
yeah,
Mushi's
double
gonna
stun.
go down.
Mushi, the damage just way too much out from that Pulse Nova.
QO the god, man. What a guy. I owe him like 3 dinners. We kept betting on Zephyr versus MVP Phoenix games. You know, it's like loser buys the winner dinner. Oh man, that was a terrible bet to make.
Does QO eat a lot?
Yes.
I would thought so. Like, he's a pretty tall guy.
He just keeps calling him, pardon my French, but he calls him a fat ass whenever he sees him. And I think it's just a Korean thing, you know?
Yeah.
Because he's just really... Koreans are just blunt about stuff like that. Like, my aunt's the same way.
But QO isn't fat.
Not really. It's just the way that...
He's just tall.
You just talk about people like that. Because you know Kyo gets self-conscious about it. It's like some weird Korean reverse psychology where you try to beat down their feelings so they don't care about it as much. It's real messed up, I know, but...
What did they call you in Korea?
It's real messed up, man. You know what's weird, though? They're surprisingly... They don't do that to foreigners. They only do it to their own. And, I mean, he just flames Kyo like crazy. It's a good meme. I like it.
Alright, Phase Boots bottle for the Ember Spirit. Got Heen, still no counter vision, which means Net, like every single time he clicks on the Daddles, he's like, yep, still no dust. He's like, okay, that just means I get a lot of free harassment time.
They're almost playing as if the bounty hunter just doesn't exist in the game, which I think there's some merit to, where they just don't overly worry about it too much. And
yeah, middle lane, Mushi's dead again.
Oh, that's brutal.
Middle tower is under attack.
Mushi may be paying pretty hard for this choice to give up the Leshrac.
Yeah, that's the Leshrac is actually overfarmed now. Like, there's a point where you just call a hero overfarmed where you can't really ignore him anymore, especially in the laning phase where you can't deal with him. And this is it. Like, the Leshrac has Arcane Boots. He's about to get a point booster on top of that. That at 7 minutes, that's like a 10-minute timing. And he just hit it at the 8-minute mark, or just about. And every single time Mushi comes to this lane, that's possible. And it's going to get stronger, too. It's not like this combo gets weaker.
Right.
Especially since Mushi's just not getting additional gold. So somebody has to rotate over and at least spot for him when the Earthshaker comes in. And again, if Mushi's been an inch forward, the Earthshaker's stun catches him at the end of that and dies again.
Yeah, and that's exactly why they have to have a ward like this. I like where he placed it from, too. Like, he put himself in this area. So instead of going like this ward, which is usually pretty traditional, like, there's not much difference between that one and this one. And he's able to hide himself in the trees while he places it. MP, oh, they do have the heal, but it's still not enough. DJ has enough burst damage thanks to that Walrus Punch to eat through that Flame Guard and gets yet another kill.
Oh, in this mid lane, Mushi's playing quite a dangerous game. If you got stunned by Febby right there,
yeah,
he doesn't hesitate. That's another kill.
Or if QO
Oh, they're going to get the kill out
They're
of
going to be able
finally.
to burst him down. One more right click. Ohio takes so much damage, but bottom lane, my lord, this Tusk is going ham. He managed to pick up the Dazzle next, had a regeneration in his bottle.
This lane is a saving grace right now for Fnatic. And in the safe lane too, we haven't really talked about it enough. Black's decided to go for the Mask of Madness build, which is a lot faster jungling. It's kind of similar in vein to when Spectres used to get it for a little bit.
Right.
Where it just beats up your jungling. It's an item that, when it comes to team fights, you're not really going to ever use it, so it never has any real negative effects. And the move speed that you get, 17%, is pretty decent. So it synergizes decently with your items. It's better and faster at farming than, say, a Vlad's, where your illusions don't really provide anything for you. And it's just cheap. It's just a cheap item that you don't necessarily have to keep.
You know what's funny? QO, he chose to go for an early level of Diabolic Edict. Like, most Leshracs max out their stun nowadays. If he had gone for that extra level of Split Earth, he might have landed on Mushi. And then he kills Mushi instead of dying to him.
Oh, he was going to pick up a haste rune, and DJ...
Chrissy made the wrong move, especially with that haste rune. They do manage to steal the Fissure, turn it around. Shuriken still not enough. And now Netbane needs some trouble too. Kua runs forward to Ohio. He just right-clicks him down. No, Febby in some trouble. Never mind. MP comes to the rescue, managed to have the dust. And he does have a remnant out. Just needs to be able to get over to... But Ned's going to be able to deny himself to Roshan. That's why MP moves for Ohio instead. Burning him down with that Flame Guard. Gets the kill eventually. And now jumps back to his remnant. Mushi doesn't have a blink up in 10 seconds. But if he can get the Shadow Strike, he'll be able to get this kill. Still MP jumps over to the left-hand side.
I think Mushi still goes for it.
He's got 2 seconds left on the blink. Does he know where MP actually is, though?
Alright, Mushi's not going to go for it anymore.
Yeah, it's too far away.
Yeah, he realized at that point. For a second there, I thought he was going to have enough range, or it was going to come back in time, but he was just a second too late. And I think if Q actually just waits a second and backs up and runs to the right, and bottles up fully, he actually survives, and they can probably just kill Net for free.
Yeah, he got way too greedy again. Again, with the levels in Diabolic Edict, what do you think about this?
I think that's fine. You're going to go for the tower really soon. Like, this is pretty common. You get 2 levels of the stun, you go for the Edict. Like, this is the more common build than I've seen. Like, some Leshracs do prioritize the stun, but it's just as common to see the Edict. The crazy thing, though, is that Kyo decided to stay mid when he knew 3 were there.
And now he's going to lose that tower as well as his life.
He's got to be careful. His net worth advantage that he works so hard to build is kind of just slipping away.
Uh-oh. Chrissy in some trouble. Double Remnant pops him. And that'll now give almost drums to MP.
Dire's bottom tower is under
As absurd as it sounds, though, this Tusk is still incredibly farmed. Bristle's had Ancient stacks to work with. He's at a free lane, and he's still behind when it comes to net worth.
Yeah.
And they're actually just protecting everything. Like, you notice that Net's just going on warning missions around the map non-stop. He's being quite a nuisance. He placed the Observer Ward to block the Ancient stacks as well, and they're just doing a really good job of, if the game pace slows down, which is what Fnatic want, for at least the mid-game, then there's not a whole lot that MVP can do, because everything's been blocked out for so long.
Can we talk a little bit now about this top lane? Black versus March. Black has actually chosen to go for Mask of Madness. I understand that he needs the sustain of a lifesteal item. I would have expected the much more normal Vlad's that allows him to jungle. Instead, Mask of Madness, which will also allow him to jungle. In fact, if anything, allows him to jungle much more proficiently. Oh, hold up. Bebby gonna be in some trouble here. They do have the Echo Slam, but he knows he's not gonna have enough damage by himself, and Ohio actually manages to steal the Fissure because of that.
That's one of the best abilities that Aruba can steal. Like, they want to go with the wraparound. This is the benefit of taking down that tier 1 tower mid. They're going to try to go for 2 here, and if they play their cards right, they should be able to get it. Ohio doesn't spot this coming in. No fit.
Oh, he managed to land the stun. MP will now come in and clean up this kill. Looks like our Leshrac's going to go for more, but that Tusk is just a bit too fast.
And now he's got his soul booster completed. The Queen of Pain is struggling really hard right now. She has a Staff of Wizardry, no upgraded boots yet. So it's going to be really hard for Mushi to participate in these fights early game. But Kyo's got a fully completed soul booster. He's probably only 3 or 4 minutes away from farming, away from his Bloodstone, and that's going to come so much faster than whatever the Queen of Pain is going to get. She probably gets something like a Yule's here, and Mushi gets quite low, and Febby's right there. They know the levels of Blink. It's still on cooldown for now. The Sleight of Fist chains is still on cooldown, though. I don't know if they're going to be able to grab this.
Yeah, and there's no one else to be able to intercept them. Meanwhile, they do take down that top tower. QL, with now the 3 levels of Diabolic Edict, is rapidly moving through these early tier 1s.
That's the benefit that it gives you. You no longer have to just be a lane dominator with Lustrack.
Can we go back to the Mask of Madness?
Sure. I just think that it helps him farm really, really quickly. Probably faster than the Vlad's does. And it's an item that you're much more comfortable ditching. And it just... I think it just helps you farm faster. Like,
okay.
It's a little bit scarier in team fights. Like, you'll never try to pop it in a team fight because you already don't have a lot of HP in mid lane.
Yeah, Mushi's dead.
There's so many setups for him.
Yeah, the Invis rune. He was just following Mushi around, and as soon as Earthshaker got close enough, he knew that would be enough. So now March is going to clear through his Ancient stack and finish up his mech. Let's talk about the Tusk a little bit. Normally we see Tusk go for the Arcane Boots, oftentimes the mech. Here, this seems to be a much more like in-your-face battle build and almost a little bit more damage from the Tusk than normal with the Treads and Blink Dagger. Is this because he's so far ahead, or is this a normal build?
It's pretty normal, especially when you're playing against a Lustrack, because there's a time period where he's not tanky enough that you can still burst him down pretty easily. And I think that's in response to that. Plus, if you can afford it, a Blink Dagger this early is phenomenal. Yeah. It's just a free initiation on whatever hero you want, and they need that right now, but Ohio's going to go for the smoke. It's instantly going to get cleared. They're both going to play sentries within vision of each other. Everybody from Fnatic's down here.
They're going to jump on a Febby here. Echo Slam immediately placed down. They get a really good Sonic Wave, though, and DJ is still surviving. Two-man Fisher setting things up, and the Shallow Grave is there as well. Net will end up going down as well as the Tusk. Double kill for QO, and it looks like even Ohio's going to be found as MP comes around the back and snags him. Fnatic, ill-timed aggression there at that bottom lane as MVP Phoenix were well ready for it.
And you can't 5-man into a Lustrack at this phase of the game, especially when your mid-hero isn't tanky. Like, they don't really have any really tanky cores. They've got one mobile hero in the Queen of Pain. But when you've got, how much HP? 872, no strength treads. You can't really tank more than one ability from the Lustrack. Yeah. Because if Febby is on the point, or if MP catches you with the chain, you just die. So I think it's a mistake to try to get into this 5-man engagement early. Maybe they think they can use this time to create space for Black, but it's not even worth that trade just because you feed so much gold away.
Speaking of Black, he is going to be working towards his Yasha now. He's actually holding on to a lot of gold. So he could have the Yasha if he wanted quite a long time ago. So at this point, if you're building up so much gold, you start thinking, okay, let me get a more valuable, like a more late game item, rather than going the typical. Like, he doesn't need more farming power out of the Yasha with Mask of Madness.
I think you can still go for it. Maybe he just goes to the straight defusal here. And
oh no, Chrissy! He's still going to get the Snowball Ice Shards though, and they'll be able to get the kill. But this does mean he's pretty far forward. Lightning hits him once, and blink away, up in 1 second. Oh no! He managed to get the fist chains out. Ember Spirit just in time manages to pick up the turnaround kill, so him failing to get off that Walrus Punch results in the Tusk's death.
And this is just more Bloodstone charges, more farm for QO, who's level 12. The absurd thing right now is that Black's level 13. And he just pushes down tower so quickly with that Mask of Madness Aquila. It's actually kind of absurd right now. And he's got 3k gold built up. Like, we've been talking about the Lustrack a lot, but this Phantom Lancer's just been kind of sneaky this entire time and waiting his opportunities out.
Yeah.
And he's just been farming. Like, he actually has just avoided his the enemy team. For some reason, he still has 2 TPs.
I also haven't felt the presence of the Bristleback at the same time.
Yeah, but it's just because he knows... I think March is just trying to keep up in net worth with the rest of the field to make sure that they have 3 cores going against just a solo hero.
Okay. At what point do they need to start pushing in, or do they at all? I mean, they do have 2 heroes lane. 3 heroes, actually.
If Kyo gets the stun.
He lands the stun, now the lightning, and the pulse nova, not quite enough damage. 50 HP is what Mushi survives on QO. Still hoping to get in range of a lightning, but Mushi is far gone.
It looks like they want to go for the Roshan. They have Medallion plus the Bristleback. Is there any they've only got one Blink Dagger, and Mushi can't really hard commit for this, so it might just be a free Roshan. You can't really bring your Phantom Lancer into the fight this early in. Like, I think he just kind of gets destroyed, but it looks like he is going to just go for the Yasha, which I think is still the correct play. It synergizes a lot with the amount of move speed that you already have, and this is going to be the Aegis, and this might just be MVP signal to go for the 5-man because of it.
Oh yeah, how do you kill Leshrac twice at this point?
Does he have... He almost has his Yule Scepter too, so now things become even more confusing.
Sleight of Fist, or no, Chain's being stolen actually by the Rubik.
That's not the best ability.
No. You gotta get close range with the Rubik.
If you're MVP here, now the question is, you're gonna get split pushed and give up a lot here.
Yeah.
Especially in this top lane, so do you just keep going? I guess you can't anymore with the Bristleback, but he can just head over and meet up with you. But they have to make this decision soon, because look how much damage Black does to that top tower.
Oh, the tier 2 tower is still pretty healthy, so... Oh, MP. Oh, he's got to be careful here. He's going to be left to Chrissy now. He has no way to be able to jump to a Remnant and is easily taken out. More TPs come in. Your Shaker is coming across. Chrissy does have his blink up in a second. Can Febby stop it? They know he's over there. The weave hit him. He blinks up. Febby. He does hit the Fisher onto Chrissy, but he's got both Black and Mushi sitting beside him.
They would have taken that fight, but Kyo wasn't there yet, and he doesn't have a TP. So he actually just has to march over there. And this is brutal right now because the Phantom Lancer just picks up a dominating spree on your carry. This is going to mean his full defusal as well. And he's a full 2k net worth ahead of the Leshrac. It's actually kind of insane how much farm that he has. And more importantly than that, how much his team has been able to create for him. You kind of have to have it in the back of your mind at all times that eventually this Phantom Lancer might just get out of control. Yeah. And you would just flat out lose a game, even though you're taking the better fights. You've been playing the smarter objectives. At some point, you have to deal with it and at least gank him once. Like, you've got the lineup for it.
Yeah. The funny thing, I was just thinking, like, oh, March is going to complete a Crimson Guard. That's going to be so good for his team versus a PL. But at the same time, when the PL is able to pick up his... oh, Shane's actually kind of misses there. They do have Paul coming in from the side, though. QO, he's got the 8. Nice. Maybe there's some TPs. MP, can they actually save Leshrac? QO starts popping up Pulse Nova, goes for the supports on the side. Remnant over. MP gonna chase down Ohio. Looks like he should be able to get this kill with the chains. March, meanwhile, chasing away the rest of the heroes. So it's just the support that ends up going down in exchange for the Aegis that they get on away from that Leshrac.
The scary thing, though, in that fight is how quickly Kyo just melted. Yeah. If he gets Walrus punched and the Phantom Lancer illusions surround him, there's actually nothing he can do to survive. Maybe even with the Fissure there, he goes down so quickly. Like, he's going to need to get the Yules just for that brief reprieve and damage. Yeah. And he has to hit the stun at that point, but still kind of question how they're going to deal with this Phantom Lancer, especially with how farmed he is. He's already up to 1800 gold once he's finished the Diffusal Blade. Like, he's just gaining ground over and over again every time I look over at him. And this is a hero that you can quite ignore. Right. It's not like an anti-mage, but once the AM gets a Battle Fear, you can still kind of deal with him.
MP, he managed to get the lock on to Mushi with the Fissure there as well. Do they have enough damage? No, the Echo Slam! It comes in right after the Snowball save on Mushi, and he will now get out. Sonic Wave hits Febby. Oh, he actually goes down. Ember Spirit to get him there with the Sleight of Fist. Now March is battling it out. QO chasing away the supports at the same time. March has lost all his mana, and QO, well, with the help of the Fissure, they'll clear through that one, though. Febby does go down in the process. Looks like they're going to try and chase down Net, but with this track movement speed, they're just staying ahead. They're kiting around MVP Phoenix as much as they can.
And they lost their courier at the same time, so they're just going to go ahead for this mid tower and say, screw it, the lanes are pushed in enough, we have to start getting stuff done around the map, and with no glyph available, they'll definitely take this. They might even be able to defend the top one and quick them. And they should be just fine. Kyo's the way that they deal with the Phantom Lancer, but he doesn't quite have a TP yet, so they're going to stay on MP.
They're going to try and do both here. Black's a little hesitant in pushing because there are some heroes off map. And MP's putting a good amount of pressure on him. I thought they were going to go for that bottom tier 2, but...
No, I don't think you do, because the Phantom Lancer travels up, and once you've committed the Ember Spirit, and you know he doesn't have a Spirit up on the map, it's a little bit too scary. At some point, the Ember Spirit can deal with the split push, just because he can leave a Remnant behind. And defend, but he needs the Battle Fury minimum to be able to do it. Otherwise, his Sleight of Fist just doesn't do any damage.
Well, the game here is quite even. It's 15-12, 23 minutes in, even though you see a gigantic net worth lead from the Phantom Lancer. The second through fourth position are all occupied by the cores of MVP Phoenix. The result is MVP slightly ahead in net worth as well as experience. A Manta now complete for our Phantom Lancer.
This Tusk has just been so dominant in this game, and he's been kind of just propelling Fnatic to a decent paced game. Like he's 7-4-2 right now. He's creating a lot of space for the Phantom Lancer and the Queen of Pain. It's just Mushi's hero at this point. It doesn't really...
Heavy Fisher actually completely whiffs Shalgrave and some heals. The rest of his team is coming in. You also have Chrissy, who's going to come in from the side and try and finish off that Earthshaker. MP moves forward, unable to grab anybody there. It looks like Ohio. TP out? Nope. Dual Scepter is out from QO. So they will get this free kill. 10 Bloodstone charges now for QO.
You still always have to think, though.
Oh, he's going to go for the Earthshaker. He tries to pop up. Still not enough damage. And now the chain stun plus the Shallow Grave. Chrissy. He got mega greedy.
Oh, Mushi's here now.
Oh, he gets that one. Finally, they do finish off that Earthshaker, and he manages to get out. They create enough space, though. Looks like Black may take this Tier 2 tower.
At some point, it's going to be go time for MVP Phoenix. Like, they can't just allow Black to continue to do this. Like,
yeah.
They actually have to deal with it. March is trying to trash back to him, but even that's not quite enough, as Phantom Lancer, he deals so much damage right now.
Black just realized, okay, I'll just send my illusions on the Tier 2 then.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
You can't really just send the Bristleback anymore to deal with it. There was a time period where that was okay, but that is long since passed. It actually has to be the Leshrac now who picks up Boots of Travel to be able to deal with this so he doesn't have to use one of his coveted item slots. They know he's isolated in this jungle area here. They also know that this Bristle is out of mana, can't really do much about this top push. Finally, they complete the Battle Fury on the Amber Spirit, and that's going to be one of the ways they can finally deal with this split push, but it's still going to be rough, just because once this Phantom Lancer gets something like a Scotty, or one defensive item for his illusions, it is going to be so hard to clear through. And this is a late Battle Fury too, make no mistake about it.
Alright, MVP. They've got a 3-man smoke up. See if they can find somebody. I do believe they have a gem somewhere. Okay, they have dust and counters. Looks like net. Oh, wow. He was just ahead of that. They see him now, and they manage to get the Fisher, but I don't think... Oh, chain stun. Heen, can he get down a counter ward? He's kind of blocked in an area, and unfortunately couldn't get it up in time.
They're just trying to meet him halfway here. That's why Fnatic realized that and go for the split push at this bottom lane. And they're so fast about it every single time. And that's just trying to buy time. He's not doing anything, really. He's just tracking your heroes over and over again.
Yeah.
This is like the most annoying bounty hunter I've ever seen. All he does is sentry and ward your jungle camps and your ancients.
That Mask of Madness, they eat through. Oh, Black immediately challenges MP. He assumes there's no Remnant up. Purges him, still trying to fight him, diving into this Tier 3 tower. Black's committing for the kill big time. Mushi comes in, Remnant jump away. Meanwhile, MVP Phoenix start taking down that Tier 2 tower, but it's Black, and well as Mushi already pushing into the Tier 3 at the bottom lane. QO is forced to defend, and that means now opportunity at the top lane. Oh, one of the TPs canceled. Chrissy's still going in here. Febby's ready to go with the Fisher, but a nice blink away after the snowball.
And they're pinging like crazy on QO because they know he's trying to run over as fast as he can. So they're trying to debate whether they should go for this or not.
Still,
you don't want to go on March.
Back. Yeah, exactly. If you want to go for MVP Phoenix, you have to go through March 1st.
QO's going to put the ward here. Just dying vision with the gem is pretty important. And QO's actually pinging. He's like, they're going to come for me. They know that I've just dewarded this ward. You should get here. QO's actually going to spot net, lift him up in the air. Everybody from Fnatic,
though, we missed the stun. He's still going to be able to burst him down quite easily. MP blocked out by the ice shards, but it's quick retreat for Fnatic.
And the illusions just burn through all of QO's mana at once. Luckily for him, there's going to be the regen rune at top. But the Phantom Lancer is always the ever-looming threat you have to think about. He's already up to 3,300 gold.
So MVP, they're going to start pushing in. This Tusk is trying to work towards a Silver Edge.
That would really help with the Bristleback. Yeah. It would force the Bristle to also go for
BKB.
The BKB instead of going for an AC, which would be huge. If they had an AC, they could actually tank so much lethal damage. But without that, it's going to be hard. And MP, I assume he has a remnant
Structures are fortified.
I'm not quite sure where, but he should.
Because you're facing a PL, do you go double Battle Fury builds on Ember Spirit, or do you go for the typical Crystallis Daedalus next?
I still think you can go Crystallis Daedalus. If you go for double Battle Fury, it's not actually too bad here.
Yeah.
Maybe in this specific instance, because you only have to really deal with the Phantom Lancer. And PL actually just canceled... Wait, somebody canceled their TP. I think it was DJ, actually.
Black still got his boots of travel.
That's a free tower. Black's finally got a participant in a
They
fight.
get a good fight here. Mushi's going to come in from the side. Sonic Wave is ready to go. Marth's going to be the first target. Pretty good Sonic Wave. Oh, hit March in the side, but in the side. Febby. Oh, Echo Slam completely missed that one. He tried to go on to DJ, but that's not good enough. March is going to chase down. Meanwhile, Black is cleaning through the Dazzle and going to look for QO as well. He's completely out of mana. Black's actually got to escape. Pops the extra movement speed he needs to be able to get away, but it's not going to be enough. MP tracks him down, and now Ohio, in a vain attempt to be able to save his allies, he cleaned up as well. Though they're really deep underneath those tier 4 towers. Now they're being dropped as Black bought back in order to make sure they win that fight. MP jumps himself away. Fnatic need to be able to grab a little bit more. They've got a Blink and Yule Scepter up on Mushi in a second. And it looks like they'll track down MP.
He's so dead.
Yeah, he's not getting away from this one. Black picks up the double kill, but it's only after the buyback.
Probably more importantly than that, Kyo managed to get out with the gem. If you were to bring him down, that buyback probably would have been well worth it. You needed to do it to save your back, but that's still a buyback committed. And now all of a sudden, the Ember Spirit isn't that far when it comes to net worth, and the Leshrac just takes a pretty decent advantage now. You've got an Orchid coming in on Mushi, so he's got some pick-off potential. Like, he can actually just kill the Dazzle before they can do anything, because it's not like Keen has enough money for a Glimmer Cape. Like, Keen's been dying through most of these fights, but it's still going to be pretty rough. Somebody from Fnatic really has to step up, because Mushi right now has had a pretty rough game. The Tusk has done his best, but at the end of the day, you're still a Tusk. You're not the hero that's really gonna impact the game as much as you'd like when it comes to the 40-50 minute mark. You can do some cool stuff, which he's been doing with saving teammates with the snowball, but other than that, it's been pretty rough for him. And this Roshan's gonna determine a lot, because if Black dies in this engagement, that could just be the game. I'm not 100% certain if they know that this is happening. Yeah, they're all moving, but
yeah,
it might actually just drop it quickly.
They are going to go for a kill now on Ohio, but they don't realize that Fnatic now going to start swarming outside of the Roshan pit, and they have that agent advantage, but they're already down on Rubik. Black's going to start going for QO, realizes this is not the fight he wants to take, can't afford to go down and potentially the second time immediately after. Doppler's away, and March unable to slow down Black. They will all get out, it seems.
That demand from MVP is so strong now. Like, even with the Aegis, they're not willing to take that.
Chrissy just playing some games with MP.
They're just trying to buy time right now, because they know even with the Aegis, MVP are well aware of the fact that Black doesn't have the buyback, and that probably determines more for them in this upcoming fight. You got a Shiva's coming out too on this Bristleback.
Oh, okay, that's an interesting choice.
Yeah, I think
I like it.
It helps a lot against the Phantom Blaster. It's just more clear.
Yeah.
Especially when Black's committed so hard to just the illusion game. Like, with the Manta style. Like, how often do you see that before, say, for example, the Scotty?
The extra mana will give him, I suppose, a little bit more time. Between the clear and the extra mana, he'll have more quill sprays to throw out in fights.
Oh, he goes for the BKB. I like this decision.
Does he have a remnant out here? MP, Sleight of Fist, jumps away. Oh, the Orchid. Placed on a creep. And now QO is going to come forward, challenging. He's got the Yule Scepter, Snowball comes in, still managed to land the stun onto Moosh. Maybe he can get this kill. Walrus Punch, Lightning onto Chrissy. He's going to change targets now. But they do have the gem, actually. Black is
everybody's out here.
QO, he's going to be quickly surrounded and manages to pull off the Bloodstone Suicide, but that's still the gem dropped. And on the side, though, MP, he needs to be able to jump in. Febby's got the Echo Slam. He locks down both. Can he get Mushi as well? They need MP. He remnants over to the side. Mushi blinks out, but MP's now in some trouble as Black pops his BKB. Dealing with MP. Purgeon slowing him. MP can't jump over to his remnant in time. March now trying to run down Black as well. They've got a Fissure coming up in a second. March, can he get this kill just in time? Now QO comes back. He's got the stun on Ohio.
BKB now.
Meanwhile, Flack. Okay, he's going to be able to jump to the right-hand side. He goes to Febby. He's going to beat this one as best he can. March is burned out of mana, but with QO and MP here, there's no way that Black can survive. TP to the side, but he is done for.
That's 101 seconds too. They know it's only their Earthshaker that's down. MP commits the buyback for that too, I think, right? Yeah, he definitely did. And this is going to mean a flat-out assault because they realize they've been that one fight and they kill Black, the game could just be over. Like, that Phantom Lancer is so representative of how much net worth that they have. The Queen of Pain just simply doesn't have a battling build. It's not like she has a BKB or enough HP with an Aghanim's, for example, to be able to actually be the frontliner that they need. Like, Kyo's just going to march down. How do you kill this guy without your Phantom Lancer? There is an Octarine core. You've got the Shallow Grave that you have to deal with at the same time. And you've got two cores that are fairly strong. March just doesn't die in these fights.
A full minute left. This is the last fight for Fnatic. Without the Phantom Lancer, they start going on MP. Mushi locked in, trying to blink away, but no. He's going to have to buy back here. Fnatic, they've actually managed to bring MVP a little bit low, but now the mech and the Octarine starts kicking in. Bouncing back there. Snowball's going for QO, and he needs to instant blink, but the Pulse Nova stops him. And DJ will fall on the front lines. March just keeps on chimping away at that tier 3 tower. They've got 30 seconds till the Phantom Lancer's back up.
Almost no matter what happens, you're going to go for this push because QO has buyback. There's still 24 seconds on the Phantom Lancer. They're going to take everything here. Like, it's actually possible for them to hold creeps if MVP just want to flat out all in for it, because there's still 15 seconds. So it ticks down so slowly when you're waiting for it here in the type of position, and they're just immediately headed to top. But Diabolic Edict is almost off cooldown thanks to that Octarine core. They're going to all-in commit for this because they know with Mega Creeps, there's actually no way that Fnatic can hold, and that's going to go down at the same time.
Bursts down, Febby goes down to Mushi. They've already locked down Heen with the Orchid as well. They need to be able to stop that Shell Grave while Black is right in the middle of March, QO, and MP, surrounded by 3. They're trying to go for that melee Rax. They will be able to get it eventually. Black now needs the Doppelganger out because still MP and March are alive. Mushi locked down. He's going to go down as well. The March finally hits it. And now with the Queen of Pain down for 80 seconds and Mega Creeps, I don't see how Fnatic are going to be able to battle this one out, but they're going to try. Black comes forward, going for MP, immediately making sure he can't pull away. Shallow Grave will get him some damage. In fact, if anything, Black may be in some trouble. Doppelganger's to the side. Resident over Black. No, he couldn't win the man fight. MP stays alive. The heals come out. QO joins his team with the buyback, and Fnatic will finally call it game 1. Goes to MVP Phoenix.
And what a rough game this was for Fnatic too, because I feel like if Black just had a little bit of space from his team or a little bit more farm on the Queen of Pain, they definitely could have won that, but this is just, I'm not even blaming Mushi because Queen of Pain versus Leshrac and Earthshaker is impossible, but it's more just indicative of the draft decision. Giving up the Leshrac in return for the Bounty Hunter, who didn't really do much for you because the MVP Phoenix just kept 5-manning and they never really allowed themselves to be picked off.